Hi, everybody. This is Candace Nicole, and I'm coming to you in light, love, and darkness. I want to say thank you for taking the time out to listen to this class. I started my spiritual journey. Now what? Okay. So this class is extremely important to me because I remember when I started my spiritual journey, I was so excited. I was like amped up, like, yes, I'm going to walk this path and walk my purpose. I'm going to find out more. And when you start to look around, there's like tons and tons and tons of information out there, and it can be overwhelming. It can be frustrating because you have certain people saying you have to do this, or you can't do this. If you do this, this is wrong, this is the only way you can do X, Y, and Z. So like I said, this is very important to me because I remember being like overwhelmed and frustrated and confused, and being like torn in different directions. Because a little bit about myself, I grew up in a Christian family. My dad is a pastor. My mom is a minister. Actually, my dad has moved up. He's a bishop. So it's always been Christianity, Christianity, Christianity. Now, mind you, it never resonated with me. Like certain things just didn't make sense. But growing up, you learned, you're taught, you're programmed that you're not allowed to ask questions. You're supposed to just blindly believe and follow anything and everything that they teach. So when I came to realize like my spiritual journey, like, it just wasn't meshing, and like I wanted freedom. I wanted to be free. I didn't believe that I should be scared of some God in the sky, right? So I was like, yes, freedom, spiritual journey, exciting. And so, like I said, you get here and then there's like all these people on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And so it can become overwhelming, it can become frustrating, and it can become confusing. So what we're going to talk about is four things. We're going to talk about getting to know ourselves, trusting our intuition, self-love, and meditation and prayer, okay? So I do have my notes, so bear with me if I look down or I look to the side, because I want to make sure I cover everything. And what I will say about me is I truly believe we do have people who will help us, who will guide us, but I always say only take what resonates with you. So that means if it feels good to your soul, if you're like, yeah, I agree with that, then you take that with you. If you don't like, I don't agree with that, that's fine. You just throw it away and just only take what resonates with you, okay? So here we go. So like I said, our four topics are going to be getting to know yourself, trusting your intuition, self-love, and meditation. So getting to know yourself will help you discover what's right for you and what's wrong for you. Like I said before, with the teachers and the mentors, you're going to come across, and some things you're going to absolutely agree with, and some things you're not going to agree with. There may be someone who you have a lot of admiration for, and for a certain amount of time you've agreed with everything they say, and then one day they're going to say something you're like, oh my God, no. But you have to know that's okay, because we are only going to take what resonates, what feels good, what makes sense to us, okay? And that's okay, because guess what? We all have our own mind, and we can all think for ourselves. That's the beauty of our spiritual path. We think for ourselves. We're not going to be like brainless zombies and just say, yes, you're right. Yes, he's right. No, we're going to think for ourselves, and we're going to, trust our intuition. So how do we get to know ourselves? Okay, so for some people, this causes so much fear to rise. They think, what if I learn something about myself that I don't like? What if everyone's right about me? So the first thing, what we're going to do is trust in our intuition, right? And so what is your intuition? The intuition is that gut feeling that you get, like that small voice in your head, that feeling like when you know you're not supposed to go somewhere, or if you know you're not supposed to do something, kind of you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach. Like sometimes it makes you feel nauseous, like, oh, because it's your intuition, it's your higher self saying, no, don't do it, don't go there, And so when we ignore these feelings, or that small voice, it's because we have been taught not to trust ourselves. And it goes back to kind of like just birth. Like, a good example is when your parent says, don't do this, don't do that. And you're like, why? Because I said so. That's why. See, so that right there is teaching you not to think for yourself. It's teaching you to blindly believe and listen to the guidance of someone else. And another example is like, for instance, like you have a group of friends and they're like, oh, you just have to meet, I don't know, Mary May. And like, we just love her. You gotta love her. So you meet this Mary May. And for some reason, you just don't like her. You don't know why, but just something about her just rubs you the wrong way. And you're like, So what that is, that's your intuition. That's your higher self saying, Mary may be great for everybody else, but Mary May is not for you. So you need to pay attention to that. And what happens is, it's like we're programmed to feel like, well, I'm just being judgmental and I'm being mean and I'm being cruel. If everybody likes Mary May, I should like her too. No. Mary May is not for you. That's your intuition. And that's your a higher self letting you know that. So instead of getting so consumed of thinking, oh, I'm just being mean, I'm being rude. No, you're going to follow your intuition. Now, granted, you don't have to be rude to Mary May, but you just know that Mary May is not your friend. She's not going to be your friend, if that makes sense. So you want to pay attention to those feelings and that voice. And once you do, you'll know and believe you have the power and the authority of your life. Okay, so you're the one in control of your life. You're the one who makes the decisions in your life, right? So we're starting to trust our intuition. If we're listening to that voice, we're listening to our higher self. So we're getting to know ourselves, right? And so now what we need to do is reprogram our mind, which means you're going to forget everything that you have learned that's not in alignment with your purpose. So everything that you have learned that doesn't make you feel good, like even like your negative things that people have said about you, the need to people please, doing everything so you can fit in, forgetting about who you are. If you're like, okay, I just want to be a part of this group. I want to be included, because we don't want to be ostracized, but at the same time, you have to understand you're not supposed to fit in, with certain people. Your tribe is out there. But right now we're going to talk about reprogramming our mind, right? And so you have to stop saying, and this is the most important thing, you have to stop saying and believing the horrible things that you say or think about yourself. Okay, so even like it goes back, it could be like childhood or teenagers or even adult life, it doesn't matter. But when people have like made fun of you, or for instance, for me, growing up, they always talked about my voice. They said I sound like Minnie Mouse, I sounded stupid, I was dumb. And that went, that was with me like my entire life. And a lot of people didn't think it really affected me, but it did. So like before I had to do like speeches or, stand up in front of people, I would always think that like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Oh my God, I sound so dumb. Oh my God, I sound like a mouse. So I have to reprogram my mind. So that's just an example of ways that we have to reprogram our mind. Forget that. Like, you know what? No. I know who I am. My voice does not sound like that. And they don't have to like my voice because my voice is not for them, So what we have to do is stop beating ourselves up. We have to stop believing the negative things that we've heard, because what happens is stays in our subconscious and it replays over and over. So that's why we start to reprogram our mind to get rid of that gunk, get rid of that nasty crap. Now you're going to accomplish this with self-love. Now self-love has become a popular, trend, a topic. Everybody's talking about self-love, self-love, self-love. People will have you thinking like self-love is, oh, I'm gonna get me a glass of wine, I'm gonna get me some chocolates and take me a nice bath. That's self-love. I'm loving myself. Now granted, that is a part of self-love. But on your spiritual path and your spiritual journey, your self-love is deeper than just that. True self-love is work. Now, it will not only empower you, but it also helps you to heal. Self-love is when you value, honor, and know your worth, right? If you suffer from low self-esteem and you think you're unattracted, you got like unattractive. So that once again is part of your mind that you need to reprogram. So to help you overcome that, so these are some things you can do for like self-love. So you can stand in your mirror and confess, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm creative, etc. Okay, so now all your life, if you've been thinking that, you're dumb, you're unattractive, whatever you've been thinking, and so now I'm like, just stand in the mirror and you're gonna make these wonderful affirmations about yourself, and then it's like, so it's supposed to just like magically disappear how I feel about myself? No. So let's be realistic and let's be honest, okay? When you're standing in front of the mirror, it's the first time you did this, you're gonna be like, this is absolute crap. Like, I don't believe this. I don't feel this. Like, am I lying to myself? So that's beautiful that you're acknowledging how you feel, right? And you're acknowledging your thoughts. And that's part of deprogramming, and it's a part of self-love. Because let's be honest, when we first start saying this, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm lying, but you're not lying. What you're doing is you're reprogramming your mind. And while you're doing that, you're building up your confidence. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to go and stand in front of the mirror and you're going to be like, I am amazing. I am awesome. God, I love myself. And you're going to really feel it in your soul. And it's going to be like, wow, so don't be hard on yourself. Always acknowledge and understand your feelings and your emotions, because you have every right to feel the way you feel. But if it's a negative or low vibration, or if it's just not healthy for you, you don't want to stay in that thought pattern, or you don't want to stay in that emotion, because we want to reprogram our mind. It's like freedom. We want to have freedom, and we really want to fully love and honor and accept ourselves. Okay, so like I said, with the affirmations, you're reprogramming your mind, right? You're building up that confidence, and you are really starting to learn to love yourself, embrace yourself, and honor yourself. Okay, so putting ourselves and our needs first is critical and important. Now, I know. People talk about self-sacrificing and like, oh, someone who self-sacrifices, oh, they're just the best person in the world. That is just the greatest form of love, because, they put everybody before themselves, and, they bend over backwards for everybody. Okay. That's craziness, and that's a lie. Self-sacrificing is not the greatest form of love. Self-sacrificing is like one of the most horrible things you can do to yourself, right? Because listen, you're pouring out into everybody, you're just putting everybody first, everything and everyone's first, their needs, their wants, their desires, right? So while you're doing all of this pouring into these people, what are you doing for yourself? Are you taking time for yourself? Are you loving on yourself? Absolutely not. So what is happening is you're pouring all of yourself into everybody else, but you're not pouring anything into you, right? Now, so because then you become like an empty shell, an empty vessel, and you can become bitter and resentful. So many of us like have families, right? So you're like, okay, so you're saying put myself first, put my needs first, but I got a whole husband, I got like 12 kids, I got a job, like I can't put myself first. What is she talking about? So, and I know it can seem like it's impossible, like, yeah, I can't do that. So this is my suggestion to you guys. Now everything is about balance. You always have to have balance, right? So and like I said, only take what resonates with you. Okay, so here's my suggestion. I would call a family meeting, have your husband there, have your kids there, and you could say something like, guys, I love y'all. I love y'all so much. And I love our time that we spend together. I love our family time. But right now I am, I'm feeling a little drained. I'm feeling a little tired. I'm feeling stressed out and I'm feeling overwhelmed. So what I want to start practicing and implementing for myself is I need some time away from everybody so I can start practicing self-love and self-care for myself. Because guys, I'm pouring everything into you all and I'm just tired, you know? And so when I'm doing this self-love, if I can just have like an hour or however long you want your time frame to be, it not only helps me to be a better me, but it helps me to be a better mom, helps me to be a better wife to you guys. And then it's like everything in the house will just flow, easily and sweetly because I've had that time to regroup, decompress, and get myself together. And so by doing that, what you're doing is you're communicating with your family, right? And so it makes them feel like they're a part of things, right? Because when you start your spiritual path, you don't want to make them feel like ostracized, meaning, yeah, there are going to be times when you're like kind of on your journey and there's certain things you're going to have to do by yourself. But when you're in that family setting and environment, when you have the open communication, it helps them understand like, oh, okay, Mommy needs a little bit of time for herself. Okay, I understand that. I understand why. We can do that. And so that's just, like I said, letting your family know and how it benefits you and it benefits them. And then even y'all could come up together with like a schedule. Like if for saying maybe once a week for an hour, you want that time for yourself, however you want to do it, however it's conducive to your family. So like if your kids have sports, there's functions, so you can just set it up where it works around and it works for everybody. And so they will honor and respect your space and your privacy, and it just makes the transition smoother and easier for everybody involved, okay? Now, our final topic is meditation and prayer, okay? So there are many ways to complete meditation and prayer, like sitting in a quiet place, going for a walk, exercising, dancing, and being creative, right? So I know a lot of people say when you go into meditation or prayer, you have to be in this quiet place, right? You have to have your eyes closed. You have to like rock this way, rock that way, or hum, or whatever. Like I said, there are so many different ways to do meditation, right? So like even if you're an antsy person, like, oh, I can't sit still, oh, if it's on the move, I gotta go. Going for a walk, right, is a form of meditation because what you're doing is all about setting your intention. So you're going on this walk, you're outside, let's say we're outside in nature, and you're setting your intention like, I want to connect to my higher self, I want to free my mind from X, Y, and Z. It's all about intention. So you set your intention, and then that's your form of meditation, right? And so you are meditating, whether you're sitting quietly or whether you're, moving about, dancing, even singing is a form of meditation, So let's talk about sitting in a quiet place, okay, where there's no distractions. So you're going to get into like a comfortable position and connect with yourself, source, God, the Most High, however you understand the all. And so you're going to take a deep breath that completely fills your lungs and slowly release it. So you go like that, right? And so you're going to do this as many times as you please. Set the intention, which means you say or think, and like I said, this is a suggestion, I want to get to know me and discover what I want to learn on this spiritual path. If you prefer to pray, you can say something like this: Most High God Source, I've started the spiritual journey. Please guide me and help me to fully get to know myself and what's the best path for me. When you start to do these things, you will start seeing and hearing things that resonate, what makes your soul feel good, okay? You will come across people who are meant to assist you on your journey, whether it's short term or for a long time. Remember, you may not always agree with everything you hear, And that can also include teachings from mentors, spiritual leaders, etc. That is perfectly fine because we are all on our own path and journey. When you truly know yourself, you will be able to clearly know what's best for you. Okay? So, once again, I am Candace Nicole, and I am leaving you in light, love, and darkness. I thank you so much for taking this time out with me to learn about, I started my spiritual journey. Now what? If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them below. Please like, share, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you want to send me a personal or a private message, you can email me at spiritualistcandacenicole@gmail.com if you don't want to leave it at the bottom, if you're a little shy, which is perfectly fine. You can also book me for services for readings. I have products. I do spiritual coaching sessions, which that is when you're starting your spiritual journey, and we dig in deep, and it's one-on-one. So you can always book that at www.spiritualistcandacenicole.com. Once again, I thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have an amazing day. And once again, I'm Candace Nicole, and I'm leaving you in light, love, and darkness. Goodbye.